TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be getting into the 13 virtues of Benjamin Franklin. I'm going to put this up here. I'm not really going to change it. So ultimately, guys, I'm going to list these 13 virtues. I actually do these every single AM in my AM ritualistic discipline. This is a part of my check mark. So a lot of my thing is like check, 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 check. Yes, I did that. Check. Yes, I did that. Check. That's a lot of what I do in the AM ritual. It builds that those small wins up. So let's just jump straight into it, okay? Temperance, okay? So tempering your character, tempering what? This is going to be eating and drinking. So eat not to dullness, drink not to elevation. Number 2, silence, which is going to be one of the 5 S's that I get into. Speak not, but what may benefit others or yourself. Avoid any trifling conversation. Avoid gossip. Okay. Avoid anger. Avoid being enraged in conversation. Avoid those types of things. Okay. Be silent in those situations. Number 3, order. Let all your things have their places. Let each part of your business have its time. So I actually did this last night. I literally organized my entire place, and I was just like, everything's in its place. I told myself, like, everything's in its place. I told my girl that too. I was like, everything's in its place. And I was like, I feel great. And it's because that was the order. So each part of my business has its time. You know, the day before that, or the few hours before that, I was working. The few hours before that, I was doing this. And now everything was, I've been living in such a high vibration, like, where I'm definitely quantum leaping, because I can see the quantum leap absolutely, you know, like, playing into effect and all this type of stuff. Number 4, resolution. Resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. Okay. So resolution meaning, like, okay, if you have like a trifling thing going on, if you have like a problem with somebody, just show up and resolve it. Like, it's way different than like talking about it, fixating on it. Okay, a lot of people don't have bad days. What they do is they have bad moments, and then they fixate and they hold on to that bad moment for the whole day, and then they say they had the bad day. But it was really just a few moments. And so this is a big thing, this is also resolving a lot of your own internal problems or your own lifestyle or anything like that, or resolving solutions. That's a big thing too. Resolving solutions, meaning like, oh, I know that I'm supposed to do these things, this, and this. If I do these 5 things, I know that my life is going to be exponentially grown from where I am. Oh, okay. So I'm going to resolve these things. It teaches you the next one, which is industry. Lose no time. Be always employed in doing something useful. Cut off all unnecessary actions. So this is the big aspect, meaning like, if you are industrious, means work. That's really what it means. But work is different than how society has projected work for you to believe. What do I mean by work? Working can be also working from home. Working can also be working out. Working can also be meal prepping. Okay, it might not be seen as work. It might not be paid for, or you might not be paid to do it or whatever, but that is still work. Gardening, reading, like doing your work, your life's purpose, your dharma, doing your life's work, okay, which is what I'm doing right now, okay? Do people think that this is work? Probably not. There's probably a lot of people who say, you know, like, you should get a construction job. That's work. Okay. I never said that it had anything to do with physical work. I actually enjoy a lot. I know a lot of people who are in real physical laboring work. Okay. That's just not where I want to go. I would rather just do that in the gym. So that's the big aspect. Okay. Number 6. Frugality. Make no expense but to do the good of others or yourself. This is waste nothing. So I would even say, take money out of it. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy. Don't waste your mindset. Don't waste your emotions. Okay? Invest your emotions. So now let's go to the positive aspect. So don't waste, okay? Don't waste your attention. So pay attention. But what are you paying? Are you paying it, or are you investing it? Are you spending it, or are you investing it? Okay, are you expanding it? Are you growing it? Are you saving it? So those are the big questions of frugality and and conservatism and building a thing that is all about that. Okay, so if you guys are trying to get into that aspect of it, that's the whole thing about being frugal, which is saving your time to invest better time. Okay, doing these videos helps me save time, so then I don't have to keep reiterating the same thing that I've learned over the last 15 years. So then I can just send a video to somebody. It'll be a 10-minute video. They will have the time to be able to digest it, okay? And I can give them a lot of different evidence and proof and all this type of stuff that will edify the video, edify my own point of view, and then also I didn't have to double up on that time to explain the same thing that I've already done. That's saving time. That's investing my time. That means that my time during that time when I would be doing that, I can invest it into doing something else. Either making more money, I could build my relationships, I could build my emotions, I could build my spirituality, I could build so many different types of things like this. So frugality, make no expense but to do the good of others and yourself. So that is also like, you know, a lot of us, the self-sabotage, the selfish self-sabotage, and the selfless self-care. You have to lean more towards in the focus of the good, okay? So like attracts like. We talked about this in the law of attraction. I'm not going to go too long, okay? It's the same. Law of assumption attracts the assumption. So if you assume that you're rich, if you assume that you're wealthy, if you assume that you're in a relationship, if you assume fill in the blank, good, okay? Then the goodness will be assumed. Now, it's the same with like attracts like. So if you are... First of all, make yourself attractive to be able to receive it, okay? So a lot of people say, what am I supposed to do, or how am I supposed to get there? It's what you don't do. It's what you don't do, and it's who you are, not how you are. It's who you are. And who you are might be built on how you are first. Like you might have to discover how should I live to discover who I am, but ultimately it's still who you are that attracts the attraction, that assumes the assumption. And so this is, I'm not going to confuse you guys, but ultimately this means be on the vibration. Focus on the good attracts the good. If you're focused on the gossip, if you're focused on the negative person that annoyed you today, if you're focused on the person that cut you off in traffic, if you're focused on any type of negative words, connotations, thoughts, emotions, actions, habits, if you're focused on those types of constructions, then that is what you are also what? Constructing in your house, in your temple. So therefore we focus on the good because focus determines your reality. Qui-Gon Jinn, okay? I stick with this quote. Focus determines your reality. So by focusing on good, by emitting on the vibration of good, by being on the same frequency resonance as what you desire, being in the desired reality, it is quantum leaping. It is shifting. It is the shifting experience. It is quantum leaping. It is parallel reality jumping. See, and I have no problem explaining this in a multitude of pillars because I've done this so long now that it's just like it comes to the mind. Number 7, sincerity. Use no hurtful deceit. I've seen sincerity pop up multiple times. Okay, so I'm doing virtues right now. So I've already done videos, but I'm doing virtues. I've done 7 virtues of Bushido, the True Grey Jedi, the Way of the Ninja, the 9 Noble Virtues, 48 Laws of Power. I'm doing the Viking Code, Dokido, all these different types of things. Sincerity has popped up multitudes of times. Okay, use no hurtful deceit. Think innocently and justly. This is what? Being pure, being in what? Focusing on the good. When you're focusing on the good, you are kind of innocent, to be honest. You are kind of like, you know what I mean? Like you are very pure in the way that like innocence is, or ignorance is bliss. Innocence is bliss too. I would even say that like me focusing more on the good, a lot of the like stuff just like has left. Like a lot of the negativity has left. The negativity stuff is left. Okay, let's keep going. Sincerity. Use no hurtful deceit. Think innocently and justly. If you speak, speak only accordingly. So you guys get it. And speak what? Sincerely. That's really what it's implying. That's what it's assuming. Now, number 8, justice. Wrong none. Not wrong the people who wrong the people who wronged you. Not wrong the people who pissed you off today. It's not. It's not saying that. It says wrong none. Wrong none. If you start to approach things like where people piss you off and it doesn't affect you, you're at a very powerful level. You're at a very, very powerful level. And a lot of people will be sleeping on that, okay? Wrong none. By doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. Ooh, So don't omit things that are your duty, which means to be good is your duty. We've talked about this in 7 virtues, your duty. Okay, he probably studied some of the 7 virtues of Bushido. But ultimately, a lot of this type of stuff is like you have a duty to show up integrity, to show up with honor. Honor has nothing to do with anybody else. Integrity has nothing to do with anybody else. Trustworthiness has nothing to do with anybody else. As much as people say, well, I don't trust this person. You don't trust yourself with this person. Let me say it again. I don't trust this person. No, you don't trust yourself with this person. They trust themselves, even if it's a negative trust with themselves. Okay? You positively trust yourself, and so therefore you guys are not in resonance, which means that you don't need to be around this person to trust yourself. Okay? I believe it's number 9. Yes, number 9, moderation. Avoid any extremes. So you guys already kind of know this. I think that there's balance of extremes too. I'll be honest. So people are like, oh, I'll be extreme in this type of aspect. I'll be extremely good. You know what I mean? And so there has to be the balance of like, well, I was extremely bad, because there was that aspect of my life. Forbear resenting injuries so much as you can think that they deserve. Very powerful. All right, number 10, cleanliness. Tolerate no uncleanness in the body, in the clothes, or in the habitation. We're speaking to the men or the boys in the chat. You guys hear me? No uncleanliness of the body, of the clothes, or of the habitation. If you guys don't know what habitation means, it means that your environment. Okay, it's not even just your place that you reside in. I mean, it is your habitat, but it's your environment. Because you live in your aura. You live in your aura. That's really your home. Here. So not in the body, which is the temple, not in the clothes, so clean clothes. You want to be very clean, okay? But also not having any dirtiness, being very clean in your environment too. Look, they've proven too, by being more orderly in the external, you're also more orderly in the internal. That's a very powerful thing. And then I would even say otherwise too. The more that I started actually caring about my life, I wanted to be more orderly in the external world. Because I started caring internally about my order and my structure and my cleanliness. And now I have like a full hygiene routine I go through every day. All this type of lifestyle I like. I kind of have slight OCD. And I would rather be at this level than any other level. That's I've always been kind of a minimalist, so it does kind of work for me. Number 10, chastity. Ooh, this one's going to be for the men and the women, to be honest. Chastity. Rarely use vainery, but for health or for offspring. Never to dullness, weakness, or the injury of your own or another's peace or reputation. Wow. So this really means that don't overly release fluids, masculine or feminine fluids, unless it's for health, or unless it's for offspring. You guys kind of get what I'm saying? Never to dullness. So like, don't do it to where you're like, you're unable, you're incapable of doing anything. Weak, so like you don't have any vigor, you don't have any virility, you don't have any vitality. So these are very big words that you guys probably don't know because it's in my private course. But virility and viril is like the male vitality, and I said in that video too, because you guys have not watched it, is the feminine vitality, the feminine viril. The feminine viril is the same. If there's an implied masculine, there has to be an implied feminine. Just so you know. Okay? So that is a big cultivation of chastity. Chastity is purity, it's rareness, it's integrity of one's soul. Not just integrity of one's body or one's emotions or one's mindset. It's integrity of one's soul. Just so you guys understand that. Tranquility. Tranquility. Being tranquil. Don't tranquilize somebody who's trying to live in tranquility. Be not disturbed at trifles. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Be not even disturbed when people are like tripping. Like when people are tripping out and people are like just on another level of tripping. Like they're They're gossiping, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're overly rude, they're overly disgusting, they overly show themselves. Like they're living in Saturnalia year round, pretty much. You guys have to start to see that, like, don't even let that trip you out. Because there has to be an implied opposite, which means that there are people who are highly divine. There are highly spiritual beings, highly mental beings, okay, who are on the same opposite resonant frequency as this person, okay, which is very tranquil, very, very tranquil. So by when you see that, you can also give thanks for, like, wow, thanks that there's, like, wow. And then number 13, which is very easy, but also very difficult to do, which is humility. Humility, which is imitate Yeshua and Socrates. Yeshua is Christ or Jesus. Humility. Imitate Yeshua and Socrates. Socrates meaning, or Marcus Aurelius, or Epictetus. Study philosophy, study Stoicism, study responding versus reacting. Okay, you guys get the cultivation of this. So let's read off the 13 and then we'll do the conclusion. So temperance, silence, order, resolution, frugality, industry, sincerity, justice, moderation, cleanliness, chastity, tranquility, and humility. So there's the 13 virtues of Benjamin Franklin. I've cultivated this actually since I was like 15 or 17 or something there. I was young, and I remember if I did this, if I continued to do this, I would get better. I started doing it, and people even started recognizing, like, yeah, this, and I've always had this altruistic, idealistic heroicism about me. Like, I've always wanted. A lot of people say, like, you want a utopia. You have this idea of an altruistic, heroic, idealistic utopia, and I do. I do believe in the good of people. I do believe that, like, people genuinely want to be better and genuinely want to do good. I think it's like an actual big want and craving in our lives. And I think that the only thing that's missing from that want is actually the action of actually just truly acting better in the ways that they deem is best for humanity and self, best for the Christ collective consciousness, the collective Christ consciousness. So that's pretty much it, guys. Peace, much love, namaste. Talk to you guys soon. I will see you guys in the next one.